I care. 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 I care.
Good evening, good day, family. What's good? What's good? What's good? What's good with everybody? What's good? Did you speak? Look like everybody spoke when they came in. Yes, 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 yes. Tag and share.
I care.
Share and tag. Tag and share. Share and tag. Let's get some folk on tonight.
I care.
Got some more wonderful things I'm going to share with you. Let me know that you can see and hear me well. Let me know that you can see and hear me well. Somebody said they've shared. Who else has shared the broadcast? Who else has already shared? Who else has already shared? Who else has already shared the broadcast? Talk to me. Who else has already shared the broadcast? Thank you for the likes and hearts. Bring them. Somebody said I can hear you loud and clear. Wonderful. Any other feedback? Any other feedback? Any other feedback? Anyone else can hear me loud and clear? I want you to type it in the comment section in capital letters. I can. Come on, I want you to type it in the comment section in capital letters. I can. Almighty, thank you for the I can mantra, the I can faith, the I can ability. And as I make up this word canvas, I canvas, you do it through your strength. We do it one with you. We do it as you are part of us. We are in you as you are in us. We are joined to you and we're one spirit. Thank you. Thank you for tonight. We praise you, Yeshua. It is so. Great things, magnificent things, powerful epiphanies and enlightenment takes place within us tonight as we're all connected. And we bless you. Thank you, Yeshua. It is so. And so it is. Yes, I can. I can. That's it. I can. You've got to embrace that you can. And if you embrace that you can, then guess what, family? That means that you're starting to own the power that you are. You're starting to own the magnificence of your own being, the magnificence of your own essence, the magnificence of your own divinity. Therefore, you're reminded that you're made in the image and the likeness of God. And I believe that whatever you think, imagine, and speak manifests and crystallizes from spiritual to material reality. Therefore, you are powerful. I want you to type it in the comment section. I am powerful. Thank you. Somebody already beat me. They knew where I was going. I am powerful. I want you to speak that out loud in your atmosphere. I want you to control every atom and every molecule in the room as you control every atom and every molecule and every cell in your body by declaring and decreeing, I am powerful. I am powerful. Say it one more time. I am, with emphasis, powerful. Because I am powerful. Talk back to me. Tell me how you're doing quickly. I'm going to get into our lesson for tonight. How are you doing? Quickly. How's your day? How's your week? It doesn't matter what you say, for it is a matter of private interpretation. But we are here to connect, and we are here to even strengthen and encourage if somehow, some way it's been challenging for you. That's all right. Share that. Somebody said good. All right. Who else wants to tell us how your day or week has been going thus far? Let me tell you, I've been so busy lately, I've lost track of days. I've had to ask a person, what day is it again? The days go by so fast for me. But they're good days. Some days are filled with challenge, but they're still good days. How is your day? How is your week going thus far? Talk back to me. Talk back to me. Talk back to me. How's your day and how's your week going thus far? I want to hear about it. Somebody said, wonderfully and truthfully enjoying life. Okay, who else? Who else wants to talk to us and tell us how your day has been going? Who else wants to tell us how your day or your week has been going thus far? Because we want you to know that that's relevant and important to us. It is relevant and important to us. All right? Wonderful. Busy and challenging. All right. Somebody said busy and challenging. All right. I thank you all so much for sharing how your day and your week is going thus far. Now, I want to take us a little bit deeper into some conversation that we've been having over the last several weeks on Sunday. And I thought I'd pause in the midst of what I've been doing. It came to me earlier today that I needed to come on tonight. I hadn't been on to do Knowledge Revolution in a few weeks, but I need to make some more deposits in you and my family. So I'm on tonight. To share in some empowerment with you on this evening. Now, listen, I want to continue my discussion with you, but this time I'm going to continue in a different way from an article that I came across that's in line with what I've been discussing with you. And I'm going to talk to you tonight about 13 sure signs that you're urgently in need of self-love. This is by an article written by Melina Nguyen that I'm going to discuss with you over the next several minutes. We go back to Mark chapter 12, and we want to look at verses 30 through 31. So let's go to Mark 12, verses 30 through 31. Mark 12, verses 30 through 31. Mark 12, verses 30 through 31. Let's go there. Mark 12, verses 30 through 31. And it reads as follows from the King James Version of Scripture: "And thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, and with all thy soul, and with all thy might, and with all thy strength. This is the first commandment." So we love God with all of our being, every portion of our existence, which is native in terms of spirituality, which is native as spirit, which is pure spirit. That is what we really are, who are housed temporarily in an avatar, a fleshly physical body. We look at verse 31, and the second is likely, namely this: "Thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself, as thyself. There is none other commandment greater than these, as thyself." Therefore, God does not have issues, the Almighty, the Creator, does not have issues with you loving yourself. Now, I encapsulate it, I frame it, I contextualize it again by quoting from the great Carl Jung. This time I read all of his quote before I get into more scripture and then give you those 13 things, these 13 signs that you're in need of self-love. I'm going to quote from him. Listen to me real clearly, family. And he said, "Knowing your own darkness is the best method for dealing with the darknesses of other people." I'm going to pause there. When we are challenged with a form of darkness, that is self-hate, which is the opposite of self-love, okay? It is difficult for you to appropriately deal with other people's darkness, other people's lack of, before dealing with your own lack of. I continue with his quote: "What you resist persists." So in all of mind transformation and all of shifting and all of the manifestation and then the attraction that we experience and participate in, either intentionally or unintentionally, on a daily basis, one thing I have learned to do is not to resist negativity. not to resist pessimism, not to resist rogue thoughts, not to resist things that come my way. It may seem as if it's a contradiction when I teach you about positive thoughts and meditating and all that. No, I have learned how to stand outside of a thought and observe it and not accept it. I have learned how to stand outside of myself and observe a thought and not embrace it as my own. Are you following me? So I'm not resisting that I feel this way in the moment by acting like it doesn't exist or by unacknowledging it. No. When I replace it with something positive, I'm saying, I notice you are here, but I will not allow you to take over my mood. I will not allow you to take over my psychological construct. So what you resist persists. I continue with Carl Jung's quote, whatever is rejected from self appears in the world as an event. So as you are rejecting yourself, your rejection of yourself will manifest in a component in your reality. It may manifest in how a coworker treats you. It may manifest in how a worker at a restaurant treats you. It may manifest as you're moving and navigating through the world through a series of events that appear to mirror or will mirror what your belief is. They will mirror what your attitude is. Okay, they will mirror what you reject. So don't be surprised if you are rejecting yourself and finding that things are happening in the physical three-dimensional world or things are happening through people to sing along with that song of rejection that you created, to cooperate with that theme of belief system of rejection. Hear me real clearly. There are a lot of things that are showing up in our world. They're showing up in our world because we put it there. I continue with Carl Jung's quote, the acceptance of oneself is the essence of the whole moral problem and the epitome of a whole outlook on life, end quote. The degradation, the deterioration of morality in society, the degradation and the deterioration of how we treat each other in society always reverts back or comes back like a boomerang to the individual. The individual in terms of how they see themselves, how they love or do not love themselves. It always comes back to us. So let me get into it tonight. Let me go ahead and get into it tonight so that I can make use of my time. I want to continue in this flow of thinking by, again, discussing with you these 13 signs that you're urgently in need of self-love. This is from a life coach, so forth and so on. And I agreed with some things that I read in an article. And I want to go over it tonight. And I want you to type it in the comment section before we begin. I want you to type it in the comment section before we begin. I have permission from God to love myself. Type it in the comment section. I have permission from God to love myself. Now, I took you through several scriptures over like the last 3 weeks in talking about love. And we discussed 1 Corinthians 6:17, he that is joined to the Lord is one spirit. We discussed from 1 John 4:16, how God is love and that God dwelleth in us and we dwell in God. And I tied it together, how it is inextricably connected in that if God is love, that means I'm love. Okay. We are fused together. We are one with each other. God is love. So you and I are love. We are pure spirit beings who are not separate and apart from God, but God is very much a part of us as we are a part of him. We are love, but we tend to on this journey based on mitigating factors, based on oppressive situations, based on pain, hurt, and trauma, many times we suppress that love that lives within us, that is bound within us, that is incarcerated within us. And when we incarcerate that love or imprison that love, then that's not just a limiting love for other people that we cause to be bound or shut up. It's a healthy love of self. And so then I took you to 1 Corinthians 13, chapter 13, and we discussed verses 4 through 8. And many times when you all see this text, you think that the context of this love described in 1 Corinthians 13 is the love that you just express or display or execute on behalf of other people. But most people have not paused to consider that love is love. Love is love. I'm going to say it again. And we discussed agape in Greek, out of the four loves, that in biblical literature is connected to God. It is a self-sacrificing, a selfish and unselfish love. It is a love that is not initiated on the basis of reciprocation. It's not initiated on the basis of what you can do for me. It's initiated out of a pure concern, a pure well-being, a pure love for you that has no strings attached to it. That love exists in all of us. So I bring it back to you because even in having you type what you type, some of you all felt funny typing it, number one. Number two, I have seen it happen. I've done it in churches. I have made similar statements like this. And then the preacher or somebody has to come behind you and then just remind you that don't get caught up in your pride about yourself. Don't get caught up in arrogance, so forth and so on. Why is that? Because there has repetitiously down through the years been a message that has been propagated across the world that you are nothing. Okay. And that self-love is a harmful thing, and that self-love is not something that God condones. This is the message that comes across. And people don't understand when you teach something one-sided like this. Listen, how can I truly embrace the love of God if I'm not even encouraged to love myself? Don't you understand that my reference of love, as much as I love God, my real reference of love is based on my interpretation of what it is. And so if I have some kind of perverted, upside down interpretation of what love is to me, and if love is based on what we call a human physical experience, which has left me lacking, which has left me bleeding, which has left me wounded and tattered, I acknowledge the love of an almighty creator, but then I struggle with acknowledging the love of an almighty creator because my reference point of love is based on my interpretation of my experiences. And a part of that experience is the ambiguity or the complexity of me being able to accept and receive that I too should love me, and that I too am worthy of loving my own self. So as I discussed 1 Corinthians 13, I know many of y'all had never heard it turned inward before, turned on you before, because you think it's something that is to be directed toward people. Yes, that is one aspect, that is one dimension, but love is love. So just as you are not entitled, you're not entitled to act in a way that is not in accordance with 1 Corinthians 13, 4 through 8 towards somebody else. You also are not to act that way toward yourself. I'm not going to get into all of it, but I'm going to read it through it one more time. Charity suffers long and it's kind. So you ought to be kind to yourself. Charity envieth not. That means you shouldn't envy your own self. Charity vaunteth not itself. That means that you should love yourself enough not to boast or be vainglorious. It's not puffed up. That means you should love yourself enough not to be proud or haughty. It does not behave itself unseemly. That means you should love yourself enough not to treat yourself indecently and unmannerly. It seeketh not our own, meaning it's not selfish or self-seeking. So you should love yourself enough not to be selfish or self-seeking. It's not easily provoked. You should love yourself enough not to be touchy, not to be edgy with yourself. You dropped it, you broke it. Don't call yourself all kinds of stupid names. You made a mistake. Why are you so touchy with you? It thinketh no evil. You should love yourself enough not to think no evil of yourself. It rejoiceth not in iniquity. You should love yourself enough that you're not going to rejoice in missing the mark or in anything that is in error, out of place in your life. But it rejoices, listen to this, in truth. You should love yourself enough where you rejoice in the truth of the great things about yourself, as well as the truth of the things that need to be corrected. Listen, love beareth all things, means that it bears up under anything. It bears up under any pressure. You should love yourself enough where you bear up under anything. It believeth all things. Watch this. You should love yourself enough where you're willing to believe all of the good stuff about yourself too. You're ready to receive the best about yourself. Okay, it goes on to say it hopeth all things, meaning that it expects good always. Well, you should love yourself enough where you expect the best to come from you. It endureth all things, meaning that it's faithless and it never weakens. You should love yourself enough where you can endure all these things, where you can never fade or waver as it relates to yourself. Then it goes on to say, charity or love never faileth. Your love for you should never fail. It should never end. It should never leave. He goes on to say, prophecies, they shall fail. One day they're going to fail. Tongues one day shall cease. Okay. It says, whether there be shall vanish away. And now abideth, jump into verse 13. Now abideth, we didn't cover this, but let me lump it in here. And now abideth the three of these. Now abideth, hope, faith and love, or faith, love, faith, hope, and love. I'm overlooked the word. And now abideth faith, there it is, hope, and then charity, which is love. These three, but the greatest of these is charity, which is love. So love is superior. Love is superior. So now that's a mini survey. That's a mini survey of in essence what I've been discussing. So now I want to break down these 13 things, by Melina Ngoya, these 13 sure signs that you're urgently in need of self-love. You're urgently in need of self-love. Let me see. Let me find it. Oh, it's already in here. I had another quote. Let me see if I want to put it up now on the screen for you. Here we go. I'm going to put this quote up on the screen for you by Leo Buscaglia. Leo Buscaglia. It says, love and self are one, and the discovery of either is the realization of both. So when you discover love, you should eventually discover yourself. Okay? It is a part of the divine plan as love. To in that love, discover who you are in terms of identity. And that identity is precious. It's priceless. It is valuable. But then the opposite can be true. When you discover your true self, your true essence, your true nature, your true power, then you must discover love. The love of the Creator and the love of you, being co-creator and a creation of the Creator itself. This is a powerful, powerful quote. Here's number one. You're not taking care of your body of mind and mind. You're not taking care of your body and mind. Remember, 13 sure signs that you're urgently in need of self-love. You're not taking care of your body and mind. Family, you've got to be careful what you put in this temple. Number one, I'm going to start with the body. You've got to be careful of what you put in your body. Now, if you keep supersizing stuff, you're going to supersize. Okay? but also your poor health is going to supersize too. Are you following me? This is a sign that you're in need of self-love. Now, sometimes people binge eat. They binge eat to medicate themselves. They binge eat to cope. Okay? You're not taking care of yourself when you do that. You're not loving yourself when you do that. Okay? You are constantly putting things in your mind or allowing things to circulate in your mind that is not productive for your life. It is not empowering in a good way. It's empowering in a negative way, but it's not empowering in a good way. So I've got to ask you the question that Neville Goddard asked several years ago in his lifetime when he talked about mental diets. So I want you to type it in the comment section, mental diet. Type that in the comment section, mental diet. Type that in the comment section, mental diet. So what are you mentally feeding on is my question. What are you mentally feeding on? That's my question. What are you mentally feeding on every day? If you're not taking care of your mind and body, that means you're not just feeding on the wrong things physically, okay? But you're not taking care of your mind in terms of self-care to put the right stuff in your mind. Television, it can be good or it can be bad. The internet is neutral, like television is neutral. It's all about how we use it. That's what I mean when I say it could be good or be bad. So what are you consuming online every day? What kind of stuff are you consuming to excite yourself in a way that's unproductive or encourage thinking that leads to behavior that's unproductive for your spiritual, psychological, and physical growth or development? Okay, so people who tend to struggle with self-love tend to consume things mentally and physically that they shouldn't. It's counterproductive to their prosperity in all aspects of their life. It doesn't make you a bad person. It just means that when that area of your life is diminished or weakened, God bless you, Apostle Davis, it means that your lack of self-love is demonstrated in the choices in terms of the selections that you feed on mentally and physically. This is one of the signs that you're in urgent need of self-love. What some of y'all are consuming garbage and you're manifesting a lifestyle of garbage. Okay, I'm going to say it again. You're consuming garbage and you're wondering, why am I thinking like this? You're wondering, why am I operating like this? You're wondering, why am I challenged with this? You're wondering why I'm trying to kick the habit, or I'm trying to get over this, I'm trying to get over that. But you're watching a bunch of videos that's encouraging stuff you're trying to separate yourself from. Are you following me? Or you're consuming stuff that is feeding a part of you that you're trying to control. Am I making any sense to anybody in here? Okay, some of y'all, being in love, and let me just give you an example. Being in romantic love is great, but let me tell y'all something. Some of y'all not ready. So for example, there's nothing wrong with a love story. There's nothing wrong with a good love story. I don't watch them. I like action and other stuff, but there's nothing wrong with one. But follow me, family. If you're not ready for it, why are you crying every weekend watching these movies about love when you're not even prepared for it? You're not even open to it yet. You haven't even healed enough. And what does it cause you to do? Lament not having it. It causes you to be frustrated about past failures. Are you following me? It makes you feel even more alone. Sitting there on the couch crying, talking about, I wish I had somebody who loved me like that and appreciated me like that. If your mental diet is on something that's not productive for you in this season, follow me, then you are not expressing love for yourself, or by consuming things that's going to empower you, you're consuming things that's going to make you feel worse. Let me get to point number 2. Number two, you always try to improve yourself to compensate for the feeling of not being enough. Ooh. Woo, hoo, 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 family. This is a big one. This is a big one. This is a big one. You are constantly doing things to try to improve yourself to compensate for the feeling of not being enough. That's why some people are having body parts enhanced. They just don't feel like they're enough. Yeah, I said it. I said it. Okay. Some of y'all and maintaining yourself physically is good, but don't be doing it for the wrong reasons. Don't be doing it to compensate for where you feel you lack, because you can get the body you want just like you can get the person you want and still feel empty inside, family. It's an indication that you're lacking self-love. Okay. When you're always trying to do things to compensate. Some of y'all have compromised in family to try and compensate. Listen to this, you've gone out of your way where other folk won't even go out of their way. They don't realize you're going out of their way. That's your way of saying, don't reject me no more. That's your way of saying, I want you to see that I'm good. That's your way of saying, I want you to feel like I'm good enough so I can feel like I'm good enough about myself. And I'm doing it because I don't feel like you feel like I'm good enough. And I want to feel like I'm good enough. So I'm going to go out of my way every time and do stuff other people don't do. And then when it's all over with, you're exhausted. And then you're frustrated because nobody did as much as you did. Nobody contributed as much as you contributed, but you didn't do it with the right motive. You did it because you were trying to compensate for what you feel like you lack. Number three, you always worry about what other people think. Oh my goodness gracious, help me, Holy Spirit. Yes, this is another sign when you are constantly thinking about what other folk are thinking about you. Can I help y'all with something? Ooh, it is possible for people to not even be thinking about you. Listen to this. Until you create this conspiracy that other folk are thinking about you, then you're sending out a signal into the world that they receive through this spiritual subconscious connection that will make folks start thinking about you. But the truth be told, you're thinking more about what they're thinking about you than they are actually thinking about you. Should I wear this particular outfit today because so-and-so might not like it? So-and-so might think I don't look good. So-and-so, might make fun of my legs. Should I take this job because then I'll be making more? And if I'm making more, so-and-so might think that I'm better than them. So-and-so might think I'm leaving them. Should I make this decision, to buy this house? Or should I make this decision to get closer to God? Or because if I do, this might affect this and this might affect that. And so might distance himself from me and I might lose this, that, or the other. Come on. You're so consumed with what other people are thinking about you that you become paralyzed in other folks' opinions. And you're paralyzed in other folks' opinions. That's why your life has not moved further. Some of you are afraid to be controversial. Let me tell you something. I'm getting ready to be more controversial in the next couple of years from some things I'm getting ready to say. But I've been controversial most of my life, and it's very uncomfortable. It's very uncomfortable going against the grain. It's very uncomfortable to make decisions, and folk are not going to like the decisions you make, and you could be vilified. You could be lied on. A narrative could be created about you that's totally false. Listen, but you got to get to the point where you recognize that you are in concert with God or in partnership with God to live this life, to make the decisions that you make. And it is good to get opinions. I have a few people in my circle. I value their opinions. I get their opinions. But ultimately, when I know something is meant to be done, when I know I've got to go in a certain direction, when I know I've got to make a certain decision, I have to make the decision, and it's not based on who likes it or dislikes it. It's based on the fact that it is a part of who I am and what I must do in this moment, in this hour, in this season. And I can't allow other people's misgivings about what I'm about to do to deter me from staying on the path of being on the path that I'm supposed to be on. My. Some of y'all have rejected good people because you were concerned about what somebody else was going to think about them. You were so worried about what other people think. Number 4, you say yes when what you want to say is no. You say yes, let me amend that. When what you want to say is no. You say yes when what you want to say is no. That's how some of y'all ended up in some situations that backfired on you. You just should have said no. There was a no in you from the beginning. No, I'm not going to give you that money. No, I'm not going to do this. No, I'm not going to do that. Listen to this. But because your love for yourself wasn't healthy, you felt like you know what it feels like to be rejected. You know what it feels like to be unloved. And so you gave up yourself, whether it was your mind, whether it was your heart, whether it was your money, whether it was your body, whether it was your time, whether it was your possessions. Okay. And there was no benefit in terms of return. You ended up with nothing. You ended up empty-handed, as they say. When you knew from the beginning it wasn't a wise decision to make. Y'all quiet. I don't see no likes and hearts. I must be on somebody's road today. I must be on somebody's lane. I must be in your living room or wherever it is you're watching me from right now. You should have said no. You knew he was a handsome devil, just like that, a handsome devil. You should have said no. You knew she was a fine vixen. You just should have said no. You knew when you loaned your car out, as some folk in the country would say, car. You knew that person was irresponsible, but you wanted to be loved. You should have said no. You took off from work to do something with somebody that you should have said no. Now you're fired, or now you're on the verge of getting fired. You should have said no, but you wanted to fit in. You didn't want them to think that you weren't supportive. You didn't want them to think, that you were whatever. So you said yes instead of saying no. My. Is anybody getting anything out of this so far? Here we go. Number 5. You don't feel confident. You don't feel confident. You feel small. You feel like you do not belong. Am I talking to anybody? Thank you for the hearts and likes. Listen. Let me pause here for station identification. Let me pause here. Have you ever not felt confident? Type a yes or a no. Thank you for your feedback. Have you ever not felt confident? I'm not just talking about, because everybody deals with that. I'm talking about you more than what you realize you should. You're lacking confidence. Type that yes or no in the comment section. Some people feel like I don't belong in certain situations. I don't belong in certain groups. When I say certain groups, I mean certain rooms. For example, some folk, they have the intelligence, they have the skills, but they don't feel like they deserve certain jobs. Or some people, they have the looks, they have the character, they have a good heart. Thank you for your awesome, honest responses. But still, they don't feel like they deserve to be with a certain man or a certain woman. Okay, you've got the cachet. Okay, you've got the credibility, but there's something in you that still doesn't feel confident. Why is that? Could it be that you're low in the area of self-love? Is it possible that you don't feel like you're as good as them? You're as intelligent as them? Okay? You're as handsome or as beautiful as they are? All right? You're as educated as they are, but you still don't feel confident? Is it possible that that lack of confidence is connected to a lack of healthy self-love? It is possible. See, your confidence will be greatly affected if you just don't love things about yourself. If you just don't like stuff about yourself, it's going to impact your confidence. If you don't like your mind and the way you think, that's going to impact your confidence. Okay. If you don't like your attitude about certain things, and that's not saying that your attitude is right, but if you think your attitude is always wrong, which I happen to think is not the case, but if you believe it's always wrong, then you're going to live a reality that manifests consequences from you believing it's already wrong. But if you believe it's always, wrong, then that's going to impact your confidence when you're in situations with certain people, because the first thing you're going to be thinking is what you always think. Well, my attitude is always wrong. It's always wrong. So you don't even know how to thrive in social situations. You don't know how to function at a work party. You don't know how to function at a Christmas party. You don't know how to function at a mixer, because you don't have the confidence in yourself, because that's an area of your life you don't love. That's why some of y'all in the mirror an hour every day. You're beautiful from head to toe. Or if you're a man, you're handsome from head to toe. But you're in that closet 1 hour looking at the same clothes. And if you gain an inch, you don't want to put it on because that's a part of your body you don't like. That's a part of your look that you don't like. I know I'm talking to somebody here. And then when you step out in the thing you finally choose, you still lack confidence because you think people are noticing the part of you that you don't love or you don't like, when they're not even paying attention. Matter of fact, and let me just say this, some of y'all, the part of you that you don't love and that you don't like, other folk love. They think it's one of your greatest accentuated statements. They think it's one of the greatest accents of your being. Some of you don't like the way you talk. Some of you don't like the way you walk. Come on now. Some of you don't like the way you write and the way you type. I need you to hear me. Yes, you misspell some words. That don't mean you're not intelligent. Some of you don't like the way you feel because you're nervous. You feel nervous when you're in this situation. I just don't like that. I just don't think I fit here. So therefore, what do? You shy away from opportunities because you don't feel confident. This leads to number 6. I might get through all 13 tonight. If not, I'll finish them up next week. I'll come back on again during the week next week. Number 6, you're afraid of being found out to be a fraud. This is connected to all these, but especially number 5. And let me tell you why. You're afraid of being found out to be a fraud. Now listen, this is not actually saying that you are a fraud. But some of y'all do carry yourself with a certain confidence. And you act like nothing in the world bothers you in public. And you're afraid behind the scenes that people are going to recognize I'm not as confident as I'm projecting myself to be. Some of y'all are acting like you're the most forgiving people, a forgiving person on the planet. I'm not cussing, but you're afraid that they're going to find out that you're mad as hell about all the hurt and the pain you've experienced all your life, and that makes you a fraud. Some of y'all are afraid you project being patient in public, but some of you are afraid it's going to be discovered how impatient you are. And some of y'all project that like you got it all together. Oh, I got it all together. I got it going on. If you're afraid they're going to find out that behind the scenes, you barely making it. You just propping this thing up. Come on now. Am I living in somebody's basement, living room, or what? That's what it means when it says you're afraid they're going to find out that you're a fraud, meaning that you're projecting an image of something that you really aren't. In other words, you can talk a good game but not live it. That lack of self-love has you wearing a mask. You're wearing a mask. You're an Oscar-winning actor. People think you're beautiful, but you think you're ugly. People think you're nice, but you think you're horrible. Folks say how intelligent you are and how charismatic you are, but you don't feel intelligent and you don't really feel like you have any charm or appeal. I wish I had more likes and hearts right there. There's a part of you that you've been hiding all these years because you're concerned that if you let people in, they will still see the real you. And the real you doesn't really love itself the way other people think it does. The real you is not as healthy as you desire to be in the moment. And that's the part of you that is fraudulent. And let me tell you something. We take these fraudulent parts of our personality and our being, and we try and merge it more deeper in relationship with God, and we always hit brick walls because you got to take the mask off to be vulnerable, to allow truth to come in. You got to let the stronghold be pulled down in your heart and in your mind to reveal the real you that feels like a helpless young girl or feels like a helpless young man that's crying out for help, that knows it should be operating more efficiently, that knows that it should be operating at a higher level in life. But because somebody scarred you so bad and convinced you you're not worthy of loving yourself, then you struggle with living a better truth. You struggle with manifesting a better lifestyle. You struggle with co-creating a better world for you and for your family. My. Talk back to me, family. Talk back to me, family. Am I making any sense? Am I making any sense? Which one was that? I think I'm going to stop there for tonight. Am I making any sense? Am I making any sense? If this is making sense to anybody, talk back to me. Talk back to me. Some of y'all, they think you this, and you, in my opinion, you are a spiritual giant, but you're not acting like it behind the scenes. Some folks think, oh, you're a mighty person of faith, but they don't know how you're cringing and your knees are knocking. You don't want them to see that part of you. Some of y'all act like publicly nothing touches you, but behind the scenes, everything seems to be too loud, too noisy, has an impact on you. And it all is traced back by a direct line to you not loving yourself enough to address, listen to this, some of these things are all these things that I described that may be present in you. You felt like you needed to cover it up to survive. You felt like you needed to cover it up to get by. You felt like you needed to cover it up just to fit in. And let me say this, and I'm going to close for tonight. Some people have been in survival mode so long. So there's a difference between being in survival mode and healing mode. There's a difference between being in survival mode and growth mode. Are you following me? When you're in survival mode, you're not really growing and you're not really healing. You're trying to maintain your sanity. You're trying to maintain your finances. You're trying to maintain your family. You're trying to maintain your position. You're just trying to continue to exist. You don't want to fall off the map. You don't want to end up in the loony bin, as they say. You don't want to be discovered. You don't want to lose everything. So you do whatever it takes to keep that facade going, to keep that image going, to keep your life going, to keep yourself erect on your 2 feet or standing on your 2 feet. But now you shifted into a place where you want to heal. And you're finding it difficult to heal. You're hearing good messages. You're hearing good things. But there's one main key ingredient that's missing. And that's you loving yourself in a healthy way to be able to look at yourself in the mirror and see all your blemishes and scars and say, yes, that's me. I still love me, and I love me so much that I'm going to deal with every pimple on my spiritual or psychological face. I'm going to deal with every scar. I'm going to deal with every abuse. I'm going to deal with every violation. I'm going to deal with every disassociation. I'm going to deal with all depression. I'm going to deal with whatever it is I see. I'm not covering it up anymore. I'm going to address it because I love myself enough that I realize that the best version of myself is not going to be projected in the world in this state of consciousness. My God, I felt that so strongly. I've got to be transformed by the renewing of my mind. But that transformation process means I got to deal with the stuff. I got to deal with the stuff that's undercover. Some of y'all right now are carrying baggage of incest, rape, molestation, abandonment, rejection. Come on now. Extreme poverty. Some of you have been challenged with PTSD. You've got post-traumatic stress disorder. You got it, and you didn't even realize you had it from the conditions that you lived in. And so you have learned under those conditions as a reflex action to survive, to cover it up. But in the process of the cover up, you blame you. In the process of the cover up, you didn't just blame other people. You created a marred image of your own self where you can't even love yourself enough. Ooh, my God. I feel this right now. Oh, my Lord, I feel the presence right now moving in me, moving through you. And I want to encourage you. I want to encourage you that charity or love from 1 Corinthians 13 suffers long and is kind. I'm challenging you right now, be kind to yourself. Listen to this. I just got to tell you, so-and-so came to you. They were the biggest drug addict, strung out, lost their family, everything. And you were kind to them. Like love said in 1 Corinthians 13:4, you were kind to them because you thought that kindness from that text was just something that referred to how you loved other people. But I got to ask you the question, who stumbled and fumbled and made mistakes and chose the wrong love partners and had sex with the wrong people, got sloppy drunk. Some of you did drugs. You done got fired from jobs. You done had stuff lost. You done got all kinds of stuff. But you won't be kind enough to yourself to forgive yourself. Why? When you have chosen to tell that other person everything is going to be all right. You're going to make it through. It's just something you did, but it's not really who you are. I see better in you. That's you exhibiting love for somebody else. But when will you show yourself that same courtesy and favor of love? Oh my God. By saying to yourself, I did this, but this won't define me. I messed up over here, but I won't be judged by that. I'm in this situation right now, but I'm coming up out of this because I know greater is he that's in me, and I know greater is waiting for me. That's the kindness of love, to have hope, because love hopes. Love expects better, as we read in the text. That same love that has hope ought to have hope for you. The hope that you have for other people is the same kind of hope you ought to have for yourself. My God. Abba, I release your love to people, the people tonight who are watching. Everyone, even those whose love may be healthy, pour it out on them. If you can, where you are, lift your hands in a receptive mode, like this or like this, and experience the wave of love, the wave of the refreshing of love, of the avalanche of love, of the rivers of love, of the overflow of love. I hear the Almighty saying that he loves you, and it's an everlasting love. He doesn't care how many times you broke down. He doesn't care how many times you bent the knee to the wrong thing. He doesn't care how many times you were consumed by other devices or other situations. You are still loved. And that love that you are sending into the world is the love you need to turn around and put back in yourself. Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready? Come on now. Are you ready? I don't know if y'all ready. Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready? Man or woman, divine man or woman, are you ready? I want you. Listen to this. I want you right now to consider how this message touched you and how this message caused you to reflect on some of the aspects of your life that say that I don't love me. Some of your characteristics, listen to this, that you say you don't love about yourself. And I want you to turn around and have the audacity to type it in the comment section right now, what you see on the screen. I love me. See, that's you saying, regardless, I love me. Type that real quickly. Type it with emphasis. Type it with feeling. Type it in love. I love me. Yeah, I said it. I typed it like that on purpose. I want you to type it again in capital letters. All capital letters. All capital letters like you see on your screen. Giant size letters. I love me. Yes, yes, yes. And I like how some of y'all did it. So let's do it again. Let's do it again. I like some of y'all personalize it. So let's do it. Let's do it one more time. Let's do it one more time. And the next time you do it, you know what I want you to do? I want you to type your name. See how I put mine on the screen? We're going to do it like Phyllis did. I want you to put yours on the screen. I typed, I love Anthony. It's a powerful statement. It's a powerful statement, but it's true. And I want you to type your name. There you go. There you go. Own it. Own it. Who else is typing it? Who else is typing it? Come on, put it up there. It's got to feel good. It's got to feel good. Come on, who else? Who else? Who else? And you know what I want you to do? You know what I want you to do? I want you to take your arms and I want you to wrap those arms around yourself. And I want you to hug yourself. And I want you to say your name. And I'm saying it right now. I love you, Anthony. And I want you to say your own name. Speak it out loud while you're hugging yourself and giving yourself the most affectionate love possible. Hallelujah. Woo, my God. Hey, thank you, God. Woo, I sense it so strong. I sense it so strong. Now, if you hug yourself, I want you to type it in the comment section. Hugged. Hugged. I want you to type it in the comment section. Hugged. That's you identifying that you hugged yourself. Oh, yes, 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 yes. Yes, 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 yes. I'm going to steal the phrase, the common phrase. You are to be celebrated and not tolerated. You are to be celebrated and not tolerated. You are to be celebrated and not tolerated. My God. I'm going to release you tonight. And I'll finish these 13 things up. The next time we come on, maybe Sunday or maybe next week. If you want to give, use the giving opportunity at the bottom of the screen. I appreciate you all so much. I love you and I adore you. And I'm thankful, so thankful and so grateful for you all. Your thoughts and your prayers are much appreciated. I'm going to release you tonight. With the shalom blessing. Shalom, shalom. Peace, wholeness, prosperity. Nothing missing. Nothing broken. Thank you, Yeshua. It is so. And so it is. See you in a few days.
I care.